Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the Drake Herald. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, welcome back to another review, and today, the Drake Herald. Now, before we begin, I do want to say thank you to Zero Grav for giving me a hand by flying this ship while I got the best exterior views possible. Again, thank you so much. And to my Patreon member that chose this ship for their one ship a month review. You are truly awesome. Thank you for the support. Thank all of you for the support. I really do appreciate it. Now, taking a look at the Drake Herald here, this thing is considered a data runner, and it is a small ship. It is pretty awesome. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of like a tick or something when you're looking at it. It's a weird resemblance to me, but it does. It looks like a bug, and it's just a very interesting design. But this thing is chock full of data running features from the computer core, which is an armored computer core, by the way, that operates on a dedicated server, accessible solely from the secure control terminal within the ship. So that's pretty cool. It really mitigates the risk of any sort of remote hacking, which is an awesome feature to have in the future when this gameplay is here. And then you also have a broadcast array, the SATA M6A1 high-power broadcast array. It's pretty much designed to facilitate long-distance data transmission for communication and emergency applications. Pretty cool. The list goes on and on and on. This thing has data storage pods. It has EMP protection. The state-of-the-art EMP protection, the shielding. It's really cool. It's designed to prevent a complete power failure in the event of electromagnetic pulse blast, which is just awesome to think that a ship out there in the verse would one day be able to prevent that from happening, especially if you're out there running data. I mean, you would absolutely want all that to be protected and your ship not to fall apart on you, right? This ship is $85 if you were to buy it on the Pledge Store, or if you buy it in game, it is $1,285,000 aUEC. It's a pretty cheap price, but that's just because it's a small ship, and right now it's kind of useless in the verse, other than just A to B transport for the pilot, because you're truly not going to be doing too much bounty hunting in it, especially once you learn how weak it really is. It's very fragile, and that's just not something you want to bring into a fight, right? Now, this ship does have a 2-minute and 1-second claim time, but if you were to expedite that, it's only 40 seconds. That's pretty phenomenal if you're asking me. 40 seconds and you're back in this boat. So technically, you could go out there and just get destroyed constantly if you really wanted to bounty hunt in this ship. But I will say, this ship did get quite the upgrade when it comes to its overall damage output. We're sitting at 659 damage per second due to the 3 guns on it, which is one size 3 Mantis GT220, and then you have 2 size 2 CF227 Badgers, which that's not too terrible. I mean, the weapons aren't too far off, right? If those side guns were size 3s, you definitely have a competitor out there for firepower, but there's just some other factors you got to take into account before we get to that. We're going to talk about the upgrade that it did get. You're looking at 18 size 2 Dominator 2 missiles now on this ship, making it almost like a, stealthy missile boat, almost like a Firebird, but, I probably wouldn't use this over the Firebird, but having 18 missiles on this ship is just really awesome. It's so Drake, right? To have a ship meant for running data, keeping that computer safe, and being resistant to EMP blasts, to just chock it full of missiles. I'm surprised there isn't a size 10 torpedo strapped to the nose of this thing, truly. Honestly. Now, talking about the defensive capabilities of this ship, you don't have any. This ship is very fragile, and that's why it has its speed and that massive thruster on the back of it. This ship has 2 size 1 shield generators outputting 2,100 bubble shield. So you lose that just by being sneezed on by any sort of hornet, gladius, arrow, anything that can keep up with you. It's not going to be a good day because you also only have 6,500 ship HP. Yes, while most of that HP is just here in the body and nose of this ship because there's not too many parts on the exterior. Well, I mean, except for these tiny little wings. This thing's like the T-Rex of heralds, right? Of ships. But you have massive thrusters, you have a bit of a body, and you got a nose on here. So that HP isn't spread too terrible, but it's still not enough HP to do much. The second you get attacked, you gotta run. You gotta get out of there. You can maybe sling a few bullets, a few laser shots, but outside of that, you are gonna pop within moments. So it's not something to really fight with if you're asking me. Now, that's not to say that people haven't, because people definitely have. People have fought in any ship out there in the game and become successful, once in a while with that. It just happens. This ship does have a top SCM speed of 240 with a forward boost of 600 and a backwards boost of 260 with an overall nav speed of 1,400. So like I said, it's not slow by any means. It can definitely escape a situation. Most fighters are well under the 230 mark in speed, unless you're facing off with something like a Razor EX, which can absolutely go faster than you. You're not going to have a trouble, getting away. But as long as you don't get surprised, right? If they jump in on you and you don't realize it, you're going to be in trouble at that point. Now, you do have a 50, 42, 160 pitch yaw roll with a boosted 60, 50, 192. Again, not terrible at all for what this ship is. And the fact that the biggest, thrusters on it are on the back. I mean, this thing's got massive thrusters on the back, and you would think its acceleration is insane, right? It is. It really is. But otherwise, you wouldn't expect it to roll that well. But there's tons of thrusters. This thing's chock full of them. Got thrusters everywhere. It's very Drake in design. It really is. Now, you only have 10.5 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 1.3 SCU of quantum fuel. So I will say you'll probably end up refueling quite often in this ship, which is just too bad. When you're out there running data and you're trying to stay stealthy, the last thing you want to worry about is how much fuel is left in the tank. But you'll probably have to call a friend over to put some gas in there for you. Now, you do have a very small EM rating, hoping to keep you, not detected while you're doing your data running, which is very helpful. And unlike the MSR, where you're sticking out from 13, miles away, this thing you can get in pretty close before being seen. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the interior of this ship, starting here at the entry point. As you can see, this is the entry. You go ahead and get in by pressing the button there. Look at all these neat little things here. Can't use anything with it. It's just right now just for the rule of cool, the design, the show, right? But it is still pretty cool. Let's go ahead and hop on into this ship. The interior is very well done for a Drake. I feel like it's got everything you need for an interior of a ship this size. Starting with to your right, your pilot seat, which actually has a pretty decent view, which we'll take a look at before we end the review. Now, if we make our way to the left, this is your support seat or your, station for that broadcast array. And this is pretty sweet. It's a really nice looking area. They did a great job just making this whole area feel like it's definitely lived in, right? It feels like you could absolutely sit here and perform your day-to-day job in this ship, no problem. Right in front of the ladder is the weapons rack, which we've loaded up quite nicely with 6 rifles of different nature. It's pretty cool. Pretty nice weapons rack here. 6 guns in this little ship. 6 guns. That beats some ships that are, triple the price and size. It's pretty ridiculous. And then you have a lot of your computer and data storage areas over here. And then you have the world's lowest toilet possible. So when it's time to go to the bathroom, your knees are either going to be in your mouth or you're going to have your feet resting up on the bars over here. Or there's always a third option. Just grab onto the yellow bars and take a squat on over without actually sitting down, because that is a very low toilet and very uncomfortable. No privacy either. You don't get a door. So don't invite anybody in if you have to go to the restroom. Right next to that, you do have a nice little sink with a mirror that is not operational, sadly, and a bed, which is pretty nice. It's always nice to have a bed. The fact that you have more things in here for living than pretty much any other Drake ship, well, outside of the Corsair and the Cutter. The Corsair and the Cutter have some good things. The Cutlass Black is just so far behind. The Cutlass Black needs to be, brought up to speed. But otherwise, this interior is just fantastic. All sorts of different information systems for your data running. There is no components or gold standard pass at this time yet for this ship, so that's going to be interesting to see where they shove all that stuff. But as of right now, nothing. So let's go ahead and hop into the pilot seat really quick right here and take a look at that view outside the window, and I'll give you my score. Since this is not a fighter or anything, there won't be any fighting scenes. It's just a beautiful looking ship that I just wanted to take a quick look at. Oh yeah, that is a good looking view. Let's turn off that and let's just use the mouse really quick. That's a pretty good amount of view. It's very strutty, though. Very strutty, just like most Drake ships. I feel like Drake and RSI are friends, and outside of the realm of selling ships, I feel like those CEOs are buddies or something. They all really like their struts. Now, overall, my score for this ship is a 69 out of 100, and that's due to the lack of shield, HP, as well as fuel, and its features, they're there, but they're not there. Why do we have a ship like this? I know this was before the whole, we don't want to release a ship without the gameplay, but let's get some of the gameplay rolling in. I mean, I'm sure we could get one or two things in to make this and the MSR definitely useful, so hopefully we'll see those in here soon. So as of right now, this ship for me is a 69 out of 100, even though it's a fantastic A to B runner because she is fast. Very fast off the beat, right? So pretty cool. I do like that. Let me know what you think of the Drake Herald down in the comments below. Is this a ship that you have, a ship that you want, or what do you think of it overall? Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. You guys are all truly amazing, and I really do appreciate your support on YouTube members, on Patreon. Everything just means so much to me, and I cannot wait to get more giveaways going for you because you guys are the best viewers out there. So, again, thank you, and I'll see you all in the next one.